So you've got a great mix, but your low end feels messy. The kick and bass are having a fight, and you can't push it loud because you get loads of distortion, and it just hasn't got that feel and that punch like commercial tracks do. This is one of the most common issues that I hear, and most people try and fix it in the wrong place. They're already reaching for EQs and limiters, but the damage is already done. In this video, I'll show you how you can separate the kick and the bass by using a couple of smart techniques in the mix, so that when you come to the master, it feels tight, clean, and doesn't lose any of the vibe, isn't distorted, and can go louder. Right, let's jump in, I'll show you how it's done. So I've got this beat that I've just put together from a load of samples that we found online, and the kick and the bass are sort of moving together. They're moving away from each other, and they just don't sound very cohesive in the low end. So this is what it sounds like. So the first thing I'm going to do is the classic sidechain the bass to the kick, so that every time the kick comes in, it'll duck the bass. But I'm not doing it in the normal way. I'm going to use the Pro Q4 because it's got a spectral mode on it. So what it's going to do, it's only going to duck the actual frequencies that I need, rather than all of the frequencies in the low end every time the kick comes in. Let me just show you how we set that up. First of all, I'm going to do a low shelf. So if I grab that frequency there, and I'm going to drag that till it's at about 300, so that I'm going to be covering off all the area where the bass is going to be. I'm going to go in, I'm going to select it as dynamic, and then I'll bring that back up to 0 and just bring the dynamic down to about 3 dB. It's saying 3 dB here, so what I'm going to do is just make that to 6 so we can see it working a bit better. And so now what I'm going to do, I'm also going to select that into spectral mode. And then what that will do, that will just make it so it's grabbing the frequencies rather than the whole band. So next I'm going to go to the sidechain, go to the instrument, and it will say kick. There we are. So now I've selected the sidechain at the top. I'm just going into the EQ. I'm going to select the sidechain here so it knows to react to the sidechain coming in. I'm going to adjust the attack and release time. So I'm going to have a quick attack and a quick release, but then I'm going to pull the release back a touch so that it just holds it a little bit longer, because that way it doesn't come and move too quickly. We get a nice movement with it. I'm also going to put this into linear phase mode because I like the sound of that in the low end. When I'm doing bass stuff, it just makes it a lot tighter sounding. So the spectral processing is going to make it much more surgical. You can also do this in the Soothe too, but I like the Pro Q4 now. Check this out. So now let's listen to them together, and I'll do the before and after so you can hear how much tighter they sound together when you do this process. So you can really hear them working together now as one rather than as two separate things. So it works a treat. Let's hear it across the whole track and see how that now fits in, and I'll before and after it as well. Right, so now I'm going to give you the bonus tip. If you're liking this so far, like and subscribe to the video. You're probably not subscribed, so make sure you press that button and the like so the algorithm loves it and sends it out to loads of other people. Anyway, let me show you the next thing, which I wasn't going to show you, but I will show you because it's an absolute peach. On the stereo out at this point, to really get the bass together, grab yourself a multi-band. So get yourself, let's go for, obviously, Fab Filter. You can use any multi-band compressor though. Now what we're going to do is, again, put this into linear phase, oversampling to 4. We're going to grab the low end and we're going to put that to about 150. We're going to do a fast release. We're going to do a kind of slowish middle attack. We're going to get this band around the outside, so we're monoing the low end at this point. And so what we're going to do, we're just going to grab this, and that's actually quite a lot. I need to just set this up differently so that I can see that. That's 6. So we've got -3 on the range. And we're just going to leave that. So what we're going to do, we're just going to now, after we've got them working together with spectral EQ, we're now going to grab them together so they're really moving with the track. So now check this out. So you can hear that just now, the whole low end is tight, it's together, and it's really moving with the track. So the whole track is an absolute joy in the low end now. You also notice that I just pumped the level up by 1 dB so that I could really get some movement in that Pro MB, which really then helps the low end get some groove. So we've tightened it all up by getting them to work together so that we've got the space in there, they're working as one unit, and then we're just crushing them together, not massively, but just a bit, on the stereo out so that they're moving with the track as one whole thing in the low end, so they're not separated, and it's really tight and gets a great groove going in the low end. If you want to learn the method of mixing so that you can put all of these tips and tricks that I show you into your mixes so that you get consistent sound every time and professional finish, then there's a link in my description just below where you can grab my mix course that's currently on a massive discount, and I'll show you the method that you can use every time you mix. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. The link's in the description. See you on the next one.